course. Call or WhatsApp 03700 100 110. Text me on 81012. Right, we're talking about how high street businesses are getting on, but also how people who are self-employed, how are they getting on during the cost of living crisis? Neath Howells joins us, self-employed artist. All right, Neil, good afternoon to you.
Hello, Jason. How's things?
Great to see you. Now, first of all, before we get stuck into the big issues of the day...
It's nice to be in Neath when it's not raining, I've noticed.
Well, it's cold out there today, though, isn't it?
I can see, yeah. So I'm
cold out there today. First of all, is it true that you've been listening to Radio Welsh?
Yes.
And you heard that we were here, so you popped on to see us?
Well, I did try Radio 2, but it wasn't very good, and I thought, well... Jason, I thought Radio Wales, and I heard Bromwyn building you up, and I thought, right, I've got to get over to this, get down to Neath to see you.
Listen, as you know, I do a bit of flirting on Radio 2 on a Sunday morning, so it's a great radio station.
Plus, I mean, my studio, which is in Patal, but I thought, I'll give that a day off today and come down here instead.
Well, it's good to see you. Thank you so much, Neil. Great to have you here today. First of all, tell us then, how far did you go back when it comes to the art then? Is it true that you did a Manic cover?
We were, yeah. When we was popular, we was known for the Manic Street Preachers cover, which was 2001, Know Your Enemy, which was, I mean, it was brilliant days. And I got to say, I mean, people like Nicky Wire and all that, they always keep in touch. So they're big art fans. So whenever there's something close going on...
They're fans of life and culture, aren't they, those boys? I love them.
Yeah, and, you know, so they always keep in touch, and they always invite me along to things if they do any close by in Swansea and that. They must be thinking, yeah, we'll get a message off Neil any minute now asking for a free ticket and that. So I'm from that. That would be 2001. So we're talking about the days of the Washington Gallery in Penarth, where it all started. And since then, yeah, we've built up. I'd like to think of built up a reputation, but I mean, more lately we've been collaborating, doing London Fashion Week with Llanelli designer Jane Pearson. So that's been great.
Amazing.
Because some of the stuff I've just ended up on The Voice of America with Alicia Keys, and over here on Our Voice and X Factor. So it's amazing where those type of garments and clothes. Actually turn out.
Describe your art then to my listeners. If they know that LP, Know Your Enemy, you know the type of art that you do. But if you don't know that LP,
well, I'd say, have you seen children's drawings? Well, just bigger versions of that, really. You know. So and that's about as simple as it gets, really. It's you know, I try to be as expressive, but I try and just be as natural as well as you can. Because
how'd you get into it? School?
Do you know what? How did I get into it? Well, I worked for a living once upon a time, and then I retired when I was 20, and I went back to Neath College.
You don't consider this to be work then, no?
Well...
Is this your hobby?
Well, I think when I was growing up, it was nothing but schemes and YTS, you know what it was like in the early 80s. So when you do things like that, and then you work outdoors, and it's quite a manual work, it was really hard work, and it's like, we're talking about it cold, so it was cold then. Yeah. So that was when I decided to go to college, but art was the last thing on my mind. It was just pure accident I ended up doing it down there.
Are you a Neath boy, or are you Port Talbot, or...? Yeah,
from a Kimler. Yeah. So, you know, there's still it's a lot less in the Kimler these days, because a lot of it's been pulled down, sadly, you know, like the old pubs and stuff. But yeah, my studio's in Port Talbot and that. So it's nice to come into... So when you got something like yourself come in Neath, it's nice to come down and say hello and stuff like that.
Well, it's important. I think it's important that because we've been talking today about politicians, and, you know, without getting too political, I think one of the intriguing things for me is that, you know, I broadcast from a studio, and we don't get out often to talk to people about life. And we hear it on the phone-in, stories, people phoning in. But what's been interesting is every person I've spoken to today about politicians say they understand what life is like and how hard it is to put food on the table. And everyone around this table has said today they have no clue.
Well, you've got to... Yeah, I mean, they might have a clue. I mean, if they got children... The thing is... I mean, on the way down here, I got distracted by the gallery at the top of Queen Street. I don't know if you've ever been in it, the Queen Street Gallery, run by Beth and Ash. But when you hear people talk about the cost of living, yes, but if you've got a business, you get hit twice. So you've got that going on at home, but they've also got it going on in the business.
That's a really interesting point.
And... So it's businesses. I've met Caroline Harris a few times. She's a new Neath MP, and I said, look, the most important thing people want is cheap energy. You give people cheap energy, and these businesses and these empty shops will just start running for themselves, because I think that takes up the majority of costs for homes and businesses. Stop some sort of starting up before they even got going.
But there's a chance that, I don't know, and none of us know. Well, we've got an idea about what's going to be in Rachel Reeves's budget, but I mentioned it with my previous guest, that in years gone by, and I've covered enough budgets in my lifetime to be able to say this live on the radio, that chancellors will say, oh, we want to become a nation of entrepreneurs and we want young people to think about running their own businesses. Well, that's fine. But then you hear from the young people who say, I tried to run my own business, but the problem was I had like 100,000 forms to fill in. I was also told I didn't qualify for a grant. And then suddenly that idea, so that little idea, even before it's gone to a page, has been extinguished. Who knew what that could have been? It's like you creating a piece of art.
I mean, people went on about Brexit, and Brexit have caused more tears and fears than than give us opportunities. Personally, I think it's made us poorer with less choice, and it's more red tape. Because anybody who we used to take artwork abroad and show quite easily abroad, put it in the back of the van, and within 24 hours we could be showing, like we've shown in Hamburg and places like that. But you can't do that anymore. It's like going into Switzerland. They want to know exactly an itinerary of everything in that van and what's going through. So, yeah, red tape, it's not made things easier. It's made things more difficult. And it's a shame that people don't, understand how worse off we all are. Because, the money's got to come from somewhere. We could earn it. We was earning a lot more this country was before, in my opinion, than we're able to do now. So hopefully that'll change, And, so, plus, I've got to say, art, we just had a Neath Arts Festival in Neath, which was brilliant.
Amazing.
We had super furry animals doing the Gwynol, and people like Neil. I thought it was Phil Collins, but it wasn't. It was Neil Collins doing his book launch of Cool Cymru.
Oh, yeah, I've been sending that book. It's good.
Yeah,
it's a good book.
Some nice,
yeah. Some good stories about music at that time.
It was. And
especially if you lived that time as well.
Well, even my daughter, who studies music, she's a harpist in Southampton, so she came along for the opening at St David's. So it was quite selection of different types of music and literature, and again run by Beth and Roger Williams, So there's a lot going on in these. You can make things happen with not a lot of money as well. So it's not all about money. It's
well, I can tell you, before we came on, I had just a little wander around. I haven't been to Neath for a long, long time. I think I came down to watch Glamorgan play a one-day match back in the day when Glamorgan had matches at the Knoll.
Yeah, I think they still do it, don't they?
Yeah, they still do it. Like, not as many. Because when Glamorgan were playing at St Helens, and we used to follow Glamorgan all around. And I haven't been for a long time. And I have to tell you, there was a real buzz. When I went in the market this morning, I had a chat to a few people. And, people very, very proud of being from Neath and being from this area. And businesses were doing okay, Market was full, people buying food, and the butchers was busy.
But the market in Neath, when I go in there, I think it definitely needs a revamp, though. I think, maybe even good. Look at what Cardiff have done with their market, have a bit of music on in there, a bit of, be able to buy alcohol. People are drinking, and that. It's not. People don't want to buy leather and shoelaces anymore and sweets. Well, maybe they do, but not in the numbers they used to do in the 70s. So things need to change. And we've got that new area over by the Neath Leisure Centre. Ooh,
yeah, that looks cool.
I go there. I go there all the time,
Yeah, that looks cool. Well, listen, got to go to the travel. Thank you so much for joining us. Really lovely to see you, Neil. Thank you.
I wish I could have been more entertaining, but,
No, you've been good. It's been brilliant. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much.
Neil Howells, self-employed artist, joining us live on the phone in 1:30. Here's your travel.
BBC Radio Wales.